everyone. Welcome to the Mindful Dose podcast. You're listening to Adriana, and today we have a Lunar Talks for the new moon happening in Capricorn on January 18th, Eastern Time, 2:51 p.m. So I'm looking at the chart for the first time today, but before we jump into the chart and just the conversation, I want to introduce myself for anyone who is here for the first time. I am a self-taught astrologer. I've been doing this for 8 years now. My first reading to a client was 8 years ago, but I have had my feet in the astrology world just as a consumer for as long as I can remember, like since I was 11. So I'm pretty familiar with astrology, and my knowledge just continues to grow. So I'm currently in the Chris Brennan Hellenistic Astrology course. So these Lunar Talk segments came about because I want to talk about astrology a lot more, and I want to bring the information to those who may not know astrology, who want to get familiar with it. So this is a casual conversation. I will try not to overwhelm you with too much astrology jargon, but it's also practice for me to just continuously talk about the lunations and track the transits, and it's a learning experience for both of us. So that is my intention with these episodes, and I think that following the moon cycle is, number one, just a very intimate experience, because we every 2 weeks have a new moon or a full moon, and then it gets enhanced throughout the year when we come into the eclipse seasons, which we are approaching one very soon. So let's just dive right in. We have a new moon in Capricorn happening, and new moons are about setting an intention, planting a seed. So let's see what is in the soil, what's happening, what type of seeds are available to us, and dive right in. Actually, again, one more thing before we actually dive into the chart. I want to pick a card for this lunation. I'm going to try to bring in all of these readings and interpretations to the experience. I am also a tarot reader. So, all right. The card for this lunation is Ten of Pentacles. It's pretty neat. So I'm using the Mystic Tarot deck. And the Ten of Pentacles, it's hard to get the image on the camera, but the Ten of Pentacles is the last card of the Pentacle suit before we get into the court cards: Page, Knight, Queen, and King. So the 10 is like the end of the first phase of the journey. And the Ten of Pentacles is a really positive card. In this image on this tarot deck, we have, of course, 10 pentacles, but we also, in the center of this image, we have a family. We have a man sitting down holding a baby, and then a woman behind the man, just like looking onwards, kind of like, hey, I brought the baby in, and this is your legacy, let's continue on and give you this moment. And then there is another child, but older. He's a boy who's playing with a toy in front of the family. So it's family is a theme of this card, but in regards to this lunation, there's something about longevity. I think I'm saying it right. There's something about longevity here, lineage, legacy, long-term, and the themes of something everlasting and continuing on even after our time is gone. So family is a perfect example of lineage and legacy, because we create our own humans from our own DNA with another person, and now there's now a new person who's holding our DNA and will continuously pass down this legacy. So Capricorn, with the new moon happening in the zodiac sign of Capricorn, Capricorn is about long-term thinking. It's long-term goals. So let's look at the chart. All right, so this new moon there's a lot going on in Capricorn. It's not just the sun and the moon at that 28-degree point. Well, they are at the 28-degree point, but very close by, we have a Mercury and Mars conjunction at 26 degrees Capricorn. So there is a Capricorn stellium happening. And when stelliums happen in a chart, that means that more than the 3 or more planets are together in that zodiac sign, in that house. So there is a stellium in Capricorn: the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Mars. That's 4 planets all together in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. But what makes it even more impactful, just looking at the Capricorn part of this chart, what makes it more impactful is that the sun and the moon obviously are together at the same degree, but at the same time that they're coming together, so is Mercury and Mars. They are coming together at the same degree, 26 degrees. So this new moon, this intention setting moment of our year, is involving the planet of war, Mars, and the planet of communication, Mercury. So I'm not saying that everybody's going to war, but with Mars here very close by, we are activated. We are getting this push. I'm a Mars ruled person, so I know Mars energy very, 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 very well. And it's one that can be uncomfortable. You can feel anxious, and you can feel kind of like all over the place if you're not funneling all that energy into some type of action. So for me, just on a basic day-to-day level, since I'm ruled by Mars and I feel Mars so much, the way that I channel Mars energy is by moving my body, working out. I like to feel a pump, that cardiac pump, the cardio pump. So everyone is different, everybody's body is different, but we want to channel that Mars energy into some type of action. With it being in an earth sign that's initiating, I can see the want or the need to move your body, like in the example that I just gave, but you may find something else that also works for you. Maybe going out on a long walk to think, since Mercury is tied into all of this. But I don't want to sound like a woo-woo type of person, but these are just some of the intuitive images that are coming to mind as I just look at the chart and reflect on the themes that come from the zodiac sign, the placements, and so on. So with this new moon, there's a call for action, but there's also a call for like well thought out action. So it's not just going aimlessly walking around in the park. You're taking an intentional walk to really let your mind think and flow. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So with all of these planets in a Saturn-ruled sign, we want to take a look at what's going on at Saturn. Saturn right now is in Pisces at 27 degrees. So again, try to remember the number. Saturn, 27 in Pisces. Sun and the moon, 28, Capricorn. Mercury and Mars, 26. So we have 26, 27, and 28. Earth and water signs always support each other. They make a really beautiful blend of energy. Same with air and fire. And you just think of like nature and how it works. So you plant a seed, like we are going to do with this new moon in Capricorn. We plant the seed and then we add water to support it so it grows. So just something to help you understand the relationship between zodiac signs. So Pisces, with Saturn there, what's really beautiful about this new moon is that this is a culmination of the last 2 to 3 years. So the change the action, the energy that's really involved in this new moon. It's not just like, oh, this week I feel called to try that new restaurant and see how it goes. So it's not really like that. It's really about the last 2 years. What has been going on in the last 2 years? What kind of wake up call have you been kind of processing and dealing with? Because Saturn and Neptune have been in Pisces for the last 2 years. And Neptune is about dreams, and it kind of makes things hazy within our experience. Not literally, but just in this metaphorical expression of like, what are your dreams? What are you dreaming about? What do you want to create in your world, create in your reality? And Neptune right now is at 29 degrees, so it's really close with all of the action happening in Capricorn. So Neptune is not out of the conversation. It's just as much as part of the conversation as Saturn is, and Mercury and Mars. So all of these players are coming together, and it's like that final meeting. Like, all right, y'all, we have done so much work in the last 2.5 years. We are coming to an end. There's an ending happening in our world, in our chapter, personally and on the grand scale of things. Like layer after layer after layer after layer is all on the cusp of change. And that's because Neptune is going to leave Pisces. It will never enter Pisces in our lifetime again. Neptune is at home at Pisces. Neptune rules Pisces. So as a Pisces, I like to really boast about having witnessed and lived its truest transit at home at Pisces. It won't be in Pisces, not for another couple of decades squared. So that's a big change happening. We have Pluto already in a new sign, and Pluto takes several years. So these are some of the things that I'm working on to remember. Is like the transits through each sign, and then the transit through the zodiac entirely. So I know that Pluto, we will also not see it go through the whole zodiac in our lifetime. It takes a really long time. And just visualize, we've all learned the solar system, Pluto being as far as it is from the sun, it takes a really long time to orbit the sun. So it's now into a new zodiac sign, and it has remained there. So we are in the early experiences of Pluto and Aquarius. But I'm not going to talk about Pluto and Aquarius any further in this episode because it's not part of the new moon. It's not making an aspect to any of the players involved with the new moon. What is that Neptune and Saturn making it that supportive aspect to everything going on in Capricorn. That whole stellium, those 4 planets that are coming together. It's I can't believe I'm doing this, but on camera, I'm holding my index finger and my middle finger together, and I'm holding my ring finger and my pinky together. It's like they're uniting in some kind of way, and they're in the same realm. So I don't know what that means, but I just felt like giving you a visual because I'm not editing this with fancy graphics. I'm just not there yet. So I'm really, really, really inspired by the change because not only I'm going to add on to, again, the layers, I'm adding on to that change, that shift, because Uranus is also part of the conversation. Uranus is in Taurus, where it has been since 2018 and 2019. So it's about a 7-year transit through a zodiac sign. It's at the end of Taurus. So this one's pretty interesting, just because I don't know why, but I've just been so much more observant of the Taurus transits with Uranus. And anyway, to bring it back to this, it's another Earth sign. So it's at 27 degrees. Again, the new moon is happening at 28. Mars and Mercury at 26. So Uranus is very much involved. And Uranus is like that planet that rules everything that comes out of left field. Everything that you don't expect is because of Uranus, and or it's tied into Uranus and its interpretation and its everything. So this new moon, we are planting seeds, but I want you to know that with the seeds that we plant, just know you're not going to have it all figured out. Life is going to add a little more into that soil, and it's going to add a little more like fertilizer, like that extra weird fertilizer. And what comes of it will be just a different version of what you intended for. And that's not to sound scary or to alarm you. It's just Uranus is like that. Like life needs to keep us on our toes, right? So that's what Uranus is for. It is also a revolution. That's a very big, strong word. I like primarily think of like history class when I hear the word revolution, but I want you to, on a personal scale, just think of like you're on the cusp of change. Like you are not going to move backwards, you're going to move forward, and it's going to be tricky. You're going to experience things that you've never experienced before. Life is going to keep you on your toes. But that change, that cusp of change, you're seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. It might be a speck of light, it might be a little bit brighter. Really depends on where these points are in your chart and what's going on in your own chart. But I really feel like this is a new moon about change. So the last couple of new moons have all been in the very late signs, late degree of a zodiac sign. So the theme of change has been ongoing. This isn't just, hey, life is changing, better start thinking about it. No, we have all been thinking about a big change. Whether it lines up with the calendar new year, the astrology new year, or the Chinese new year, the change is going to happen either way. Whatever time marker you use to mark the new time, like whatever, it's change. Change is happening. Let's see what else is going on. I want to add in, again, going back to the Pisces placements with Neptune at 29 and Saturn at 27. With the ruler of the new moon in a mutable sign, just going on with that imagery of like planting a seed in this funky fertilized soil. The Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in the late degrees is almost like it's all being planted in a very magical place, in a boundless place that it's like an island that blends with the ocean. It's just a magical and dreamy place. So what does that mean on a with your feet grounded type of interpretation? That means that yes, there's going to be change. Yes, the elements of surprise and the unknown are going to happen to what we intend during this fertilized time for change. But also understanding that you do need boundaries when it comes to your spiritual well-being, with your emotional well-being. And that's been a tough pill to swallow, especially I'm a natal Saturn in Pisces and a Pisces stellium. So learning how to find the right boundaries where I don't overwhelm my mental health, because my Pisces is in the 12th house. That has kind of been the theme of my Pisces, Saturn, and Neptune experience. It's just like swimming to find the edge of that current, to find the edge of that space in this very energetically flowing atmosphere. That edge, you're not going to be able to physically grasp it. And I mean that metaphorically. That edge, it's almost it'll feel almost like there's like a hot spot in the house or a cold spot in the house, and you're just like, wait a minute, if I move over here, I feel warmth or I feel that cold. But if I move just a fraction over here, suddenly it's different. So that edge is going to be subtle. That edge to that dream, that edge to that change, that edge to that new thing that you want to intend for this new moon. The edge is soft, okay? It's not hard. It's a soft edge, and you have to know where that is for you to know how you're going to grow this, how you're going to maintain and support it as it takes root and really blossoms out of the soil. So I know that's not concrete, but that is that Neptune and Saturn and Pisces feeling for you. I think that kind of covers the new moon. Let's see, what other ways can we work with this? Venus is in Aquarius, and it's really close to the new moon, but it's separating. It's moving away. So Venus, the values and the beauty, it's lessening. And with Mars and Mercury moving closer to the new moon, and it's applying to the new moon, the Mars and Mercury are more about like, so be about it. It's like Venus is like, show me the beauty, and then Mars and Mercury is like, let's walk the walk. Let's walk the talk, or God, what's the expression? Let's put action behind our dreams. Let's put action behind our feelings. Let's actually do something about it. Let's not just say we're going to launch this product. Let's actually do it. This is put that energy into that physical manifesting. All right. Burn it off, work out, find that stillness, that energy, that inspiration is still going to be there. You're not going to burn off the energy and then it's gone. You're going to burn off the energy so you don't feel cluttered with energy, and it kind of just settles in the spots where it's supposed to with Mars and Mercury here. But once you kind of settle that energy, however way you find your Mars outlet with this, that inspiration will speak a little bit clearer, because now your energy is organized, it's settled, it's grounded. And with Capricorn being an earth sign, we want that grounded energy. We really want that support. We want that, looking back at our tarot card, the 10 of Pentacles, we really want that longevity. Okay, friends, I hope this brings you a little peace of mind. I hope you're enjoying these lunar talks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to share with a friend who's curious about astrology and wants to learn a little bit more. Okay, so I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks for the next Lunar Talks. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.